here again today, and this card features my fire and ice technique. Now I call it fire and ice because you have the fire from the Gilding Flakes and the ice from the ice snow product that goes on top of it. So I will show you just how achievable this card is. Very, very easy. It's a little bit of a longer card to show you. So get yourself a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and we'll get started. The dies we're going to be using in today's card are the Vienna set from the new Austrian collection, and this is a beautifully detailed die, one of my favorites. We're going to be using the two bow sets together, the 3D mosaic bow, which is one of the new sets, along with the classic bow that was available from the first set of offerings. And also from the very first release, we're going to be using the California Collection Decorative Frame Set B for our sentiment. And to create the background, we're going to go with our new pinpoint design called Checkerboard, and it's really, really interesting. It just gives you the perfect background for a card like this. So I think we'll do our embossing first. So starting with my folder, I've got a piece of milk card here I've cut to size. I'm going to pop this inside and just line it up so it's equal all the way around with the design, so I don't want to have it going a little bit wonky. Place that onto my base plate, and we will get our raspberry plate here, and that's the sandwich that we need for the grand caliber. So we're going to run that through our machine. There. Put that there, and you can see, let me take that up. Right underneath the corner of that. And you can see the beautiful pinpoint design come through. Isn't that gorgeous? It has that look of piercing, but it doesn't pierce through, but you can use either side there. So it gives you a completely different look, which I absolutely adore. So pop that over to the side now. And I think we'll go ahead and just set that there for the moment, and we'll come back to it when we do some of our other pieces. I'm going to do some cutting here to show you how you can cut and emboss parts of your design. So to start with, I've got a small piece of the milk card. I'm going to use the Vienna die. Now this one comes with several different pieces. So you have an outer cutting edge, a decorative piece, which is what we're going to use, and then you've got some more cutting edges in here and another decorative piece. So the first thing we're going to do is tape this decorative insert into place on this piece. Just center it about like that. In fact, let's go like that. Put one on either side, and we'll do the cutting here. Now this is quite a detailed design. So what I recommend is running it through one way and checking it, and you might decide that it needs a little bit more. It may cut all the way sometimes. It depends on the machines. They all have their own little idiosyncrasies, I think. So let's see how we did with this one. That looks like it's cut absolutely beautifully. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to go over and do some embossing. So leaving my embossing plate with my tan mat, I'm going to pick up this cutting edge, but rather than cutting it, I'm going to just do some embossing with it. So I want to tape it in place, just center it, just like that, and then pop my base plate over the top. And we'll run that through. Now, if that were on a cutting mat, it would actually cut through, but I don't want that. I just want to leave that really pretty impression from it. So what we're going to do is peel this up now, get my tape off of there, and show you how you've just got a really pretty oval embossed into the center. But now we're going to go back in with the smaller decorative edge and do some more cutting. So we will take this off of there and pop this into place. Go back to my removable tape. Straighten that up, put that down there. And to be fair, since this is already cut and I've used it to make sure it's nice and even the way I want it, I could even remove this. We'll take it out of place. And that will just mean that that center section will be easier to cut. There we go. Okay, leave that right there. And we'll run that one through. I love the way you can actually mix and match these around to get different designs. So I've used both of the decorative inserts from this set to give really pretty lace filigree look to it. And let's see, that's cut beautifully. And we'll just gently peel that up. And don't forget you've got a little bit of tape on there, so want to peel that back slowly. It is removable tape, but if you rip it really hardly, you can tear your paper, so be very careful with it. And then just pop that piece out. There we go. So now what I have is a beautifully detailed filigree inset into my card. So I'm going to skip ahead here and show you what I've done. So ahead of time, I took one of these and covered it with a sticky sheet on the front. And our sticky sheets just have a backing piece and the adhesive in the center. So you have two backing pieces with the adhesive. Peeled off one side, put it onto the top. And now what I'm going to do is turn it over and I'm going to do some gilding. Now this is all exposed adhesive now. So let's just bring in a little piece of copy paper. We'll move some things out of our way. I'm going to use some Summer Meadow Gilding Flakes for this. These are really lovely. Isn't that pretty? You've got all those golds and greens and oh, just love the colors to these. And we're just going to pop a few down here. Whatever you don't use can go right back into the jar, so don't worry about it. I like to use the Ranger Rub It, Scrub It pad when I'm doing gilding flakes because I think it works perfectly for this. And you're just going to go in a circular motion until all those flakes are adhered onto the sticky areas that are exposed. It is a little messy, I have to admit, but it's kind of the fun kind of messy. There we go. And just keep rubbing it. And I've probably got way more there than I need. Okay, so now I have what I call the fire part of this adhered. Now I did hand trim this with a pair of scissors. So what I would recommend, because a little bit of the adhesive sheet was sticking out, is to take that and use your paper cutter because you don't want that gilding flake to show. So let's just tidy a second and go back through and we can trim just ever so slightly off of there so we don't end up with that on our finished card. There we go. And the last side. There we go. Okay. So you can see how I've got the beautiful gilding flakes on this side. Now this is the back, okay? So now let me tidy these up a little bit. I'm going to use the other side of this copy paper now, and we will lift up the other piece of the backing paper that's on there. Just let me get it started. There we go. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to bring my ice snow over here. Get it all ready. Peel that back so you can see how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay. And we're going to cover this, giving you the other part of your technique. And just burnish it into place, moving it around. Absolutely beautiful product. I have to say, I think this is probably my favorite product I've ever worked with. It just gives your card a lovely, lovely texture and bling without being too in your face. It's so pretty, and it goes a long way too. So remember to burnish it into place, take off all your extra bits, and then you can put it back into your jar the next time. There we go. Set that aside. And I'm going to just do a little bit of matting on the card. We'll put some double-sided tape into place on the back. And I'll show you how it looks all together. Oh, how pretty that is. There we go. So you can see there's the fire and ice technique done close up. But we're not finished yet. So I'm going to go ahead and put this onto my card, and then we'll work a little bit forward from there. So I've got the mounting foam on the back, creating a little bit of height and dimension on my card, which I love. And we are going to do a pretty bow for this card too. Okay, so that's ready to go. Now, I went ahead of time, and I've gone and done this part of my bow. Let me just tidy this up a little bit. Okay, but I'm going to show you and tell you what we've done. I've taken the classic bow and I've cut it out onto my card with a piece of self-adhesive sticky sheet already on it. Okay, and then the mosaic bow I cut out just out of the milk card. So I'll show you how we've done this little section here, and it just shows you how we've done the entire bow. So I'm going to peel this up. Let me use a little bit of a pokey tool to get it started. And I'm just going to make sure that I lay this directly on top, nice and straight. And I think it's easier to do it a little bit at a time, so we're just going to peel that back, keeping that nice and straight on there. So now I've got the sticky adhesive exposed. I'm going to go back to our Gilding Flakes. We're going to pop some of those into place. Now I'm going to find my little Rub It, Scrub It pad. There, it's gone. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more flake there. And we're just going to use this to go into those spots that are exposed from underneath my mosaic. How pretty is that? There we go, take off the extra. And you can even take a little bit of a sanding block and get that extra bit off the edge. Or if it bothers you, if you're not quite straight, you can use a tiny little trim there and take off that extra bit. There you go. Okay, so let me tidy. I did say these are a little messy. You definitely don't want to have a fan on when you're using Gilding Flakes. Okay, we'll just pop those to the side for the moment. Now, I didn't glue this into place yet, and I'll tell you why, because I do need to trim this down a little bit to fit. I'm going to just glue it into place, and we'll trim off the extra. Oop, there we go. Okay. Pop that down, just give it a second to set up. I think I'll move that a little higher. There we go. And just trim the extra bit off right here on either side. Okay. Now I can go ahead and put it into place onto my card. So we'll just use a little bit of Cosmic Shimmer glue there. Pop that down. Okay. And we'll put our bow together. Now I prefer to use the glue dots when I'm doing these on the video, but if you're going to do it at home, I recommend using the Cosmic Shimmer Dry's Clear Glue. It's a lot more secure. We'll just pop our tail into place. And as you can see, I've only made a single large bow for this. I haven't doubled it up, but it's really pretty with the Gilding Flakes that way. And I'm going to pop that onto my ribbon, and we'll do our sentiment and get it sorted. So we're almost there. So I've gone ahead and stamped the For You, and we're going to use the decorative frames to cut that. A little bit of tape, and just get that centered nicely. And this will just take a second to cut. Pop that right up into the top of that plate, and you can just run it forward and back. There we go. And one of the things that always works beautifully on dies and framing your sentiment is just to add a little bit of ink to it. So I've got some antique linen, which looks so pretty with the milk card. Just going to give a little bit around the edge here to finish this off. It's very, very subtle. It's a light color, so it's really easy to use. Pop that out. So you can see I've got my sentiment there. And we're going to put a little piece of mounting foam on this, and we can just finish our card off nicely, I think. Now, because I have the ice snow underneath where it's going to go, I always tell people to add some glue to that just to make sure it sits and stays secure. So we'll pop that right into place there. Give it a second to hold. And you can embellish with some extra pearls or whatnot if you like. I have gone ahead and used the Ivory Cosmic Shimmer PVA glue dots around the edge on this. What a gorgeous card is that. So pretty. A little extra work, but I think it's worth it. I do hope you've enjoyed today's video. Look forward to seeing you back again soon.